Welcome back to the second tutorial of the tutorial series for Unit 1. Okay, in my previous tutorial, what I have told you, what I have shown you is how to solve very simple numericals on the heat transfer of conduction, heat transfer by radiation and heat transfer by convection. Okay, and I've already shown you how to derive heat transfer conduction equation in 3 dimension in xyz coordinates, that is also called as Cartesian or the rectangular coordinates. So I welcome you all for the second series of this tutorial for Unit 1. So let's get into the tutorial 2. Okay. So as we have already solved the rectangular coordinates, 3-dimensional rectangular coordinates, now we will be solving 3-dimensional cylindrical coordinates. Okay, 3-dimensional heat conduction in cylindrical coordinates. So cylindrical coordinates will be r, theta and z. Okay, so if we talk about now, this is the cylindrical element. Okay, now this happens to be like this. If you can see this, this happens to be, this is an element. How actually I am telling you how we achieve this. Okay, this is r, this is the axis, okay, and it is rotating along this direction x. This is rotating along the angle theta. Okay, so we know that the length of the arc is actually the length from where it is suspending and into the product of the angle which it is subscribing. So the length from where it is hanging, it is r, and the angle that it is subscribing, it is theta. So it will be r theta. Okay, now here the angle is d phi. Okay, the angle is d phi, so it is r d phi. Okay, so one of the element will be r d phi, okay, and another one will be dz and another one will be dr. So this is the volume. In my previous derivation in the rectangular coordinates, it was dx dy dz, if you can remember. Okay, done. So on these similar lines, we will do this derivation once again. So it is heat conducted into the element from all the directions, means q. If I talk about from my previous, it will be like qx minus qx plus dx, but here since the coordinates has changed, so this qx won't remain qx. Okay, it will be something else. It will be qr, q phi and qz. Okay, now plus heat generated within the element, we have already seen it was dx dy dz. So here it will be r d phi dr dz. So simple. Okay, the volume is this. Okay, is equals to heat stored in the element. So again it is delta u. So it will be m dot Cp delta T by this, okay, delta time. Very simple. On the similar lines, just the coordinates has changed, rest everything is same. Okay, so net heat conducted into element from all coordinate directions. So heat entering the element through r phi plane in time d theta, which I was writing small t, they are taking it as theta. Okay, so qz is equals to minus k. This is nothing but Fourier's law of conduction in cylindrical coordinates. So it is qz is equals to minus k r d phi dr del t by del z d theta. Okay, heat leaving from the element through r phi plane in time d theta. So it will be qz plus dz. Okay, and you know what is qz plus dz, what is qr plus dr, and so on. Okay, now the net heat conducted will be subtraction of these two. Here it is. Okay, so just put the Fourier's law of conduction inside the formulae. Okay, and what you will get after bit of solving, you will get this. Okay, just a bit of solving, you will get this. Okay, so qz is this by Fourier's law of conduction. So keep qz here, and just by little arrangement you will get this, the net heat conducted through r phi plane. Now heat entering in the element through phi z plane in time d theta. In phi z plane it will be like qr. Okay, so heat leaving from the element So it will be QR plus DR. So just apply QR here and QR here, and just by little arrangement, okay, you can actually get the thing. But before that, what you need to do, you need to actually calculate the net heat conducted. So this is the net heat conducted as always, okay, like this. So QR minus QR plus DR. So after bit of rearrangement, you will get this. Okay. So can you see one thing? See here it was QZ, so del Z square is the thickness. Okay. Here the R square is there. So if you solve it, you will have everything as R here. Okay. So this is the important thing. This is the important thing to remember. If you are going wrong, you can check that the thickness has to be of the same plane that you are considering. Okay. Now heat entering in the element through ZR plane in time d theta. Okay. So it will be like Q phi is equals to minus K dr dz del T by R del phi. See, del phi will be the thickness. Okay. D theta is the time, no issues. So heat leaving from the element ZR plane in time d theta will be just Q phi plus d phi. So apply Q phi here and here. Okay. And see, you have to take the thickness, the complete dimension. You cannot go for del phi only. No, since the thickness means one of the dimension is R del phi, so you have to take thickness as R del phi, not the sole del phi. See here. Okay, because it was dz there, so we have taken dz. It was dr as one of the dimension, so we have taken dr, and R d phi as one of the dimension, so that's why we have taken the complete dimension as the thickness. Okay. And then you know, as always, what you need to do, you need to calculate Q phi minus Q phi plus d phi. Okay. So it will be del, and just by simple mathematics, by simple rearrangement, this is the thing that you will get. Okay. Now you have everything. Okay. So net heat conducted into element from all the coordinate directions. Net heat conducted into the element from all the coordinate directions. So what we are actually trying to do, we are actually trying to add up. So it will be like QZ minus QZ plus DZ. Okay. It will be like QR minus QR plus DR, and it will be Q phi minus Q phi plus d phi. We have added everything. Okay. We have added everything, and by simple rearrangement you can actually get this. Okay. So it's quite simple. It's del square T by del S square, and this is the volume. As I have already told you in my first slide, this is the volume, this is the time, this is the K, and this is the main important thing that you have derived. But this we are not ending it here. So the next slide goes like this. Okay. So heat generated within the element. Heat generated within the element, as I have already shown you in my first slide. So this is the heat generated within the element, that is Q into the volume. And if it is, you know, per unit time, or if it is in some time, so it is like d theta. You can actually omit d theta from each and every step. Okay. You do not require d theta. Okay. But you can go along with it. It's there isn't any harm. So heat stored in the element, the increase in the internal energy, as I have already told you, it is delta U, and it is m dot Cp delta T, right? And m dot, as always, as I have already done in my previous slide, it is m dot is equals to density into volume, and volume here, as we all know, R d phi dr dz, same. C. Okay. Cp is the specific heat. Okay. Substituting everything. Now what you need to do is chuck off all these. Okay. K, you can actually divide the K here. See, divide this K by K goes off, and here it is, and here, and we all know that it is like K by rho Cp once again is alpha. So here it is 1 by alpha, and done. Okay. So this is the main equation that you need to derive for conduction equation in cylindrical coordinates. Now let's talk about another very important coordinate system. This is heat conduction equation in spherical coordinates. Okay. Now, how to go about this spherical coordinates? Spherical coordinates, as I have already told you in my previous videos when I was discussing theories, okay, I have already derived this in my, but since it's a tutorial class, so I think these kind of derivation, and these derivation you will find every time in your question, in your semester question. So this is very important along with all the two derivations that I have done. Okay. So it's in spherical coordinates. So spherical coordinates is basically when an element moves along in two subscribe two angles simultaneously. Okay. So one angle is d phi and another angle is d theta. Okay. So here it is. So it is subscribing this angle and it is also subscribing this angle. So if you complete the locus, it will be just like a ball, it will just like a football or basketball. Okay. So this is a spherical coordinate. So the volume of this spherical coordinate will be r sine theta d phi. I am talking about the volume. Okay. R d theta, okay, and dr. So it will be like r square sine theta dr d phi d theta. So this is the volume, okay, as these are the dimensions of the cube spherical element. Okay. So this is the thing. Okay. Qg, you all know, that is the internal heat generated. Okay. Now let's see the same thing has to be done, but you know the thing that is required is you need to very much precisely look at the coordinates, and you need to decide what will be there in the area part and what will be there in the thickness part. So once again, let's come q phi. Okay. So q phi, this is the thickness, the complete. Why? Because see, this is the thickness. So you need to take the complete dimension. You cannot, since we are writing q phi, you cannot just do like d phi as the thickness. No, it will be wrong, since this is the complete thickness. This is the thickness that the heat has to cross. So the thickness will be r sine theta d phi. So let's go. So it's a partial operator. So it is del phi del r. Okay. So again, you know what to do. That is q phi plus d phi. Just apply Fourier's law here, Fourier's law here, and just by little, and then what you need to do is you need to actually take out the net heat accumulated. So net heat accumulated, as always, will be subtraction of these, okay, entering and exiting heat. So this is the thing that you will get after taking the net heat accumulated. Now heat flow in r phi plane in theta direction. Okay. So heat flow in r phi plane in theta direction, that is heat influx. So in theta, this is the complete thing. I'll show you. This is the complete thing. So this will be the thickness. Okay. This is the thickness, and the same thing goes on. Okay. Subtract it just by little arrangement, get this. Okay. Now the next thing, next important thing is k, and the same thing. Okay. Now the next thing is this one. Okay. That is from the previous equation. That is, this is not the main. This is sorry. This is the main thing. Okay. Now heat flow in theta phi plane direction. So it will be qr, just the same thing. Okay. And qr plus dr. Apply Fourier's law here, and then subtract it, and finally you're going to get this. Okay. Now net heat accumulated in all the direction plus the internal heat that is being stored inside plus should be equals to the rate of change of internal energy, and the same thing has been done. See, this is the heat generated, this is the rate of change of internal energy, and this is the addition of all the net heat. This is the net heat. Okay. So what we will do, this goes off, goes off, goes off, again divided by k. Here you will get k, here you will get k, and you can replace it by alpha as always. So this is the main equation that you are looking at. Okay. So this is the complete derivation for the numerical for the three-dimensional heat conduction in spherical coordinates. Okay. Now let's talk about this. This is again a very simple numerical. I'm starting with the simple numerical once again, but this is the this is again for the rectangular coordinates. The inner surface of a plain brick wall is at 60 degrees Celsius and the outer surface is at 35 degrees Celsius. Calculate the rate of heat transfer per meter square of surface area of the wall, which is 220 mm thick. The thermal conductivity of the brick is 0.51 watts per meter degree Celsius. Okay, so the temperature of the inner surface, see, this is the diagram, very beautifully described. So it is actually reducing, that's why we get a minus sign in Fourier's law when we are increasing towards the thickness. So the temperature of the inner surface is T1 is equals to 60 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the outer surface of the wall, it is 35 degrees Celsius. It's already given in the numerical, and I have already told you, you have to chart out what's given and what's not and what you need to attack on first. The thickness of the wall is L is 220 mm. Okay, the thermal conductivity of the brick, everything is provided in the numerical, and you know the Fourier's law by this time. You should be knowing the Fourier's law by this time. It is minus Ka dt by dx. So dt is actually delta t and dx is L. So here it is. Okay, so it is like, see, they have multiplied. In my previous numericals you were seeing that T2 minus T1, right? And I told you, you can actually multiply the minus sign inside, and again this is the kind of solving that you can do when you go for, you know, multiplication of minus sign inside. So this is the answer. Very, very simple numerical, very, very illustrative diagram it has shown. Okay, now the next one is, once again, consider a slab of thickness L 0.25 meters. Okay, this is the L thickness, talking about thickness. One surface is kept at 100 degrees Celsius and the other surface at 0 degrees Celsius. Determine the net flux across the slab if the slab is made of pure copper. Thermal conductivity of copper may be taken as 387.6 watts per meter Kelvin. Okay, so everything is given here once again. So the thickness is L is equals to 0.25 meters. Okay, the temperature is 100 degrees Celsius. The T2 means the T2 here is 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, and the thermal conductivity K is 387.6 watts per meter Kelvin. Okay, again the simple Fourier's law, it is minus Ka dt by dx. So here it is. Okay, so net flux is basically Q by A, so it's Q by A, so it's watts per meter square is the simple calculation. Okay, now next is, now you can see it's, now we are entering into the composite zone. A reactor's wall 320 mm thick is made up of an inner layer of fire brick K is equals to 0.84 watts per meter degree Celsius, covered with a layer of insulation K is equals to 0.16 watts per meter degree Celsius. The reactor operates at a temperature of 1325 degrees Celsius and the ambient temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. First off, what you need to find out is determine the thickness of the fire brick and the insulation which gives minimum heat loss, and calculate the heat loss presuming that the insulating material has a maximum temperature of 1200 degrees Celsius. Okay, so there you can see are the two layers of the composite wall. Okay, one is the fabric, one is the insulation. This is the temperature here, this is the temperature here. Okay, this is the intermediate temperature here. Okay, and the thickness here. So what do you need to find out? You need to find out, determine the thickness of the fire brick. So determine the thickness of the fire brick, you need to find out this, and calculate the heat loss presuming that the insulating material has a maximum temperature of 1200 degrees Celsius. So this is 1200 degrees Celsius. So this is all given. So what you need to do is, you need to just go with like this, and I've already told you that the heat is steady. So basically heat that is entering from this wall, sorry, from this face will actually exit with the same magnitude. So what you do is, Q is equals to T1 minus T3 LA by KA plus LB by KB, and this will be same like T1 minus T2 by LA by KA and T2 minus T3 because it is steady. Okay, so considering first two quantities, okay, so you can actually calculate LA throughout. So just by little bit of mathematics, you can actually go for, because here the LA is unknown. Okay, here the LA is unknown. So when the LA is unknown, So you can, and everything is known, so definitely you can calculate the La, means the thickness of the fire brick, okay. And the thickness of the insulation, the thickness of the insulation will be 320 mm minus La, so you will get Lb, okay. So here it is Lb. Now heat loss per unit area, you can take any, either you can go for the fire brick or you can go for the insulation part, and just apply Fourier's law. And here is the Fourier's law, that is delta T, and it is in the format in Q is delta T by RTH, okay. And we know that RTH for conduction is L by Ka. So here it is L by Ka, okay. So this is the thing. Now let's talk about the next numerical. A wall of furnace is made up of inside layer of silica brick 120 mm thick covered with a layer of magnesite brick 240 mm thick. The temperature of the inside surface of the silica brick wall and outside surface of a magnesite brick wall are 725 degrees Celsius and 110 degrees Celsius respectively. The contact thermal resistance between the two walls at the interface is 0.0035 degrees Celsius per watts per unit wall area. If the thermal conductivities of silica and magnesite bricks are 1.7 watts per meter degree Celsius and 5.8 watts per meter degree Celsius, calculate, okay. So the rate of heat loss, calculate the rate of heat loss per unit area of the walls and temperature drop at the interface. So everything is given here. This is another, composite wall. So Ka is given, La, Lb means the thickness is given here, okay. The contact thermal resistance, we'll talk about it, okay, is the same thing, is the thermal resistance is given, okay. The temperature at the inside surface, the temperature at the outside surface, okay. Now what they are showing, the rate of heat loss per unit area of wall Q. See, the contact thermal resistance is given here, okay. So see, this is Q, so it is delta T by summation of RTH. So it will be RTHA plus RTH here. See, it is RTHA here, okay. It will be then R thermal of the contact and it will be RTH of B, and R thermal of the contact is actually given here in the numerical. So just solve it and calculate the Q. Everything is given, just solve it and get the Q. The temperature drop at the interface, so it is, I have already told you, it is steady. So the heat that is coming here will go out with the same magnitude. So here see, it is T1 minus T2 by LA by Ka, LA by Ka, and here it is T3 minus T4 LB by Kb. So everything is there. So just at the, this is the contact temperature at the interface. Just calculate with the simple mathematics, you can calculate the contact temperature, okay. So this was again a kind of numerical for this thing, okay. Now we are into three layers of the composite wall. An exterior wall of a house may be approximately by a 0.1 meter layer of common brick, that is K is equals to 0.7 watts per meter degree Celsius, followed by a 0.04 layer of gypsum plaster, K is this. What thickness of loosely packed rock wool insulation, okay, जिसकी K की value is already given, should be added to reduce the heat loss or gain through the wall by 80%, okay. Now what we need to do is, as you can see, it is common brick, gypsum plaster, rock wool. So here it is given. So this is, means the thickness of the rock wool that you need to find out, okay. What is the thickness of loosely packed rock wool insulation, should be added to reduce the heat loss or gain through the wall by 80%, okay. So what we need to do is, we need to actually take care of, see, thickness is already given, thickness of common brick given, thickness of gypsum plaster given, but thickness of rock wool is unknown, that we need to find out. Thermal conductivities of everything is given, of all the three elements are given, okay. Rock wool insulation not used, case 1, rock wool insulation not used means it is only about these two, okay. And just now we have solved so many numericals with the two elements. So just solve it, okay, and you can get it, okay. Just solve it and you can just, this is the one of the insulation, okay. So delta T is not given here. Now when we use the rock wool insulation will have the third element added, okay, will have the third element added, but now what we are talking about, the Q2 means the result will be 80% lesser than the one when the rock wool is not used. So this is the main equation. Just put it in this equation. You have Q2, you have Q1 from the beginning, sorry, you have Q1 in the beginning. So just put it here, Q1 you know, Q2 you know, so just put it and get the rock wool insulation when you need to reduce for 50%. Okay. So what we need to talk about is, till now what we have done is like for two elements, okay, we have already done for one element, okay, when the temperature is here and when the temperature is here and when the thickness is given and when the K is given. So what you need to do is K is equals to minus Ka dt by dx. Okay, so when the temperature differences are given, so this dt, I'm just recapping it, so this dt will convert it into delta t, so it will be T1 minus T2, so it is T1 and it is T2, so it will be T1 minus T2. So do not worry when the minus sign is actually outside, the minus sign you can actually multiply it inside the bracket. Okay, so and this is when the first element, okay, so you can definitely calculate the Q here. Now when there are two elements, element A and element B, whose Ka and Kb is known, just now what we have done, see, just now what we have done in this numerical, see here the Ka and Kb was given, right? So I'm just recapping so that you can get it into your mind that what we actually think of, okay, when solving a composite wall numerical. Okay, anything greater than 1 is basically the composite wall. Okay, so when we are talking about two things, two element of a composite wall, so let me just show it here. So here the conductivity of both the elements are given, okay, the thicknesses of both the elements are given, okay, so and you know that the Q that is coming here should exit with the same magnitude because this Q is a steady state. Okay, this Q is a steady state heat, it doesn't change with time, so it doesn't change with anything else. So whatever magnitude that it is entering in, the same magnitude it will come out with. Okay, so here what will happen is, suppose if I have to write the equation, if I have to find the interface temperature, okay, if I have to find the interface temperature as we have done it for here, see, as we have done it for the interface temperature. So the interface temperature, as you can see, these two heats, simple element will actually be equated together. Okay, so if I talk about here, so suppose if this is Q, so Q will be it is like T1, it is here T2 and it is like Ti, T intermediate, so it will be like T1 minus Ti, okay, T1 minus Ti divided by x1 by k1 Ka, xa by Ka area, okay, and these two things will be equated. So it will be like T2 Ti minus T2 divided by xb by kb a. Now whatever is given and whatever is not given, you can actually chart out here, okay, and you can calculate the remaining portion. Okay, now if we talk about the three things, if we talk about the three elements, it is x1, x2, x3, okay, the intermediate temperature, so this is T1, this is T2, this is T3, this is T4. So again the same thing has to be done, this is Ka, Kb, Kc, so it is like T1 minus T2 divided by x1 by k1a, it will be equals to T2 minus T3 by x3 by k3a, and again it will be T3 minus T4 by x4 by k3a. Okay, so these three things has to be taken out and it will be then you can easily solve the remaining portion of it. So I thank you all for listening this video very precisely, because this video has to be heard very precisely, because we have actually come from one brick to the three brick numerical. I'm talking about the composite. Okay, so this is how you do for a steady state heat transfer. we'll be doing separate numericals for composite cylinder and for composite sphere in my coming videos. Thank you all. Have a great day.